Hello, and welcome to another episode of my Stellaris Let's Play. This is Northstar. I hope you folks are well, taking care of each other, being kind to yourself. I'm actually recording this the same day as the last two videos. Cut two. Just good. I've been behind. I don't think I recorded anything yesterday. I was so exhausted. And yeah, it's just been a slow few days. My long COVID's been kicking my butt. I think I did some Thursday, and then, anyways, a slow couple of days. Did do a little my deep breathing stuff. Had a snack that calmed my stomach, which was part of what was making me a bit cranky before, because, I mean, with long COVID, everything hurts all the time. But one of those things is my stomach, because I get a lot of gastrointestinal upset. I used to have a stomach of steel that was never uncomfortable, but... I actually left the music going. Oh well. Let's go. Shouldn't have, because that was just making noise in my headphones, wasting electricity. I got the last video editing, cutting in the background, which, you know, cool. I often also cut the videos because it at least makes the file sizes manageable for uploads, because then, you know, it takes less time to do just one of them. I can get that done in the breaks between videos. A full-length video will take too long to upload and only be halfway done, then I have to leave the YouTube thing open, and that's just another thing going on in the background, slows the game down, in addition to, you know, recording software and everything else. I know I was gonna have to redo this. Let's see, this is about to go there, and one of the reasons I left this running for a tiny bit is because the AI does weird things with trade deals. If right after you reload, it'll say it can offer more up than it actually will. A resource, usually. They don't have any alloys to trade. All this surplus loyalty. Masterful crafters. A penchant for meticulous crafting lies at the heart of this society. Deft appendages and keen sensory organs aid them in creating truly wondrous treasures, even the most basic of traits. It's got nothing to do with the species traits. It has everything to do with anyways, how they organize their society. But yeah, so, sorry, what was I talking about? Pointing out? Oh yeah, because they can get consumer goods from them. They have lots stored up, and they produce them more efficiently than I do. Especially when I'm under militarized economy, so. If I can't get alloys on this, I should keep some of this in reserve. Trade value or a food. Trade is slightly harder to generate than food. May end up selling some food for trade, in fact, at some point. So boom. driving a tight bargain. Trying to get out when I can. I've screwed up before with laying their loyalty over cap, but trying to at least avoid making the same mistake. I would say twice, but I've done it more than that already. Because the favorite society agenda is going to expire right at the beginning of October. And that's going to hurt my science output. Work hive mind drone steady. I don't think that affects the Squires, but yeah, should do the ancient life pod now. An abandoned life pod was detected in close orbit of Stellaris 4. This is the thing before I said it was probably a life pod. It is covered in scorch marks, presumably from when the pod's mothership exploded. And preliminary scans suggest it was built more than 5,000 years ago. The crew of the ISS Hubble managed to open the pod, revealing the withered remains. Why is my brain inserting words that ball in there? I mean, they do, like the withered corpse, but it's the withered remains of a reptilian alien clad in a resplendent uniform. So, very exquisite, fine uniform. Anyways, clutched to one of its claws with a small picture of another individual from the same race, possibly a mate or a revered leader. So I'll just have a field day with that. I'm really whipping through society research at this point. Signs of battle. I mean, in 10 months, I don't think I'm going to increase my output of anything that might scale by more than 5%, so I should do it now. Besides, I want to clear out the top bar. There is clear evidence that a massive space battle took place in close orbit of Stellaris 2 at some point in the last 5,000 years. It's one of the systems nearest habitable world. Should be something people might have fought over. The surface on one side of the planet is pockmarked with craters from stray weapons blasts, and scans from the ISS Hubble have picked up several hulks in the ground. Though these wrecked ships are all in very poor condition, the fact that anything remains at all after the damage they must have sustained is a testament to their advanced design. Science Officer Renata Ramirez is preparing an expedition to sift through these derelict holes for any valuable technologies.
Situation log has been updated.
Same system as the xenofungus. This makes me think of Alpha Centauri stuff. Let's see. I guess I can double back and there. But the storms head this way, it might work to my advantage to I'm gonna do this. It's the whole overshoot thing. That should be on the way back here. Boom. So that's a minute. I want to get too close to the violins if they turn out to be hostile. And also gain first contact progress from dissecting some of my species if it comes to that. Serving MLN2A. I'm wondering, since I don't have enough envoys, if I should switch the first contact protocol from proactive to cautious. Negative first contact events are also going to happen to us with a cautious approach. Gonna be that far behind. Establishing comms earlier has its advantages, including setting up trades right away, knowing what's out there. Then again, I can survey the territory of empires if hitting my influence cap. Maybe too late to increase my difficulty for the stage 1, but I'm pretty sure this applies to later. I'm gonna move to a cautious first contact protocol. It's the negative first contact events. So, from proactive to cautious, basically clamping down on letting my signal comms out. Want to swap back into proactive later. Otherwise, you get a risk when too many empires have contacted you that they'll trade comms to others before you've even finished first contacts. But Odegon Purity probably aren't too willing to do that. My vassals, maybe. They don't seem to have any substantial relations with anyone besides me, though. These guys. Might trade away minerals cheaply. I should actually try and do a favorable deal with them because I really need to speed up getting the embassy because I need to send the envoy away. So let's see. Got some surplus food. Let's see if I can do a favorable food for minerals trade. Not instantaneous. How about monthly? They don't take this into account, so it actually kind of screws up their food is easier to produce than minerals. The base production rate is 50% higher. So yeah, this is a favorable because they're running mining guilds. Whenever an empire produces more, it tends to be less valued in trade deals, so whatever their economy is more focused on anyways. This allowed me to benefit from adding more hydroponic space still, and maybe running fewer miners. Keep the mines open probably for the automated districts, but I mean automated jobs, but fewer actual pops working in the mines. More specialists. Cool. I wonder if they do energy. I have to give them some trade for energy. Just out of curiosity to measure these against each other. Okay. Energy is not nearly as undervalued as minerals for them. If anything, I'd rather actually do instantaneous energy trades since those aren't taxed. And alloys? Can always use more alloys. Or consumer goods. They don't value alloys enough. Makes sense. They're probably quite militarist and produce a lot of them. Yep, they want to have 25 a month surplus. This was a balanced deal. 4. How much trade does it take to buy 18 alloys? Slightly more than 4. Yeah, so cheaper than buying on my internal market at least. And this would be a deal that's a little bit in their favor. I prefer to actually do deals in their favor that are monthly, because it means that they're making me more now for benefits they won't get for, in some cases, 30 years. But establishing an embassy is an immediate benefit. Or, well, I mean, I can start acquiring benefits immediately, even before I've paid the price for some of this, so. Let's see. What if that would be a big surplus, and if something happens, like I run out of food, the deal cancels later. Yep. The idea behind this is to buy their friendliness. I might also give them an instantaneous gift of something. I don't know. Boom. Highly favorable deal. So I can establish an embassy without having to improve relations is all. Hopefully they don't just shutter the embassy, but if they do, maybe I'll cancel the deal and then they'll hate me and I don't know. We'll see. Guess it doesn't hurt to map their territory. Claim it later. Be a little more cautious than I was not before, because I don't know what the aggression range is, and I should avoid. I don't have a ton of experience with them. Cool. And then let's explore. Alright, and invasive xenofungus. Could have waited potentially a couple years in this. Not quite a couple. Actually, it's like 15 months. But it's probably better to just do it now anyways. After intense study and sampling of the growth plankton in entire biospheres, was Dyra 3. No, actually, biosphere is the entire planet. hence sphere. Biosystems would be, you know, like ecosystem would be more local. A biosphere is sphere. It's right in the name. It's the whole planet. So that's an incorrect use of the term. Renata Ramirez reports that the substance is not native to the planet. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's incorrect use anyways. Maybe the terms evolved to not mean what originally meant. Originally, it means an enclosed ecosystem. So technically there was Biosphere 1 and 2 and such, but usually it means the entire ecosystem of a planet, or theoretical, like moon or whatever. Anyways, Ramirez supports substance is not native to the planet, but rather an invasive fungal life form of unknown origin. The fungus feeds on biomatter, choking out existing plant life and enveloping terrain. Any future settlers on the planet would have to deal with routinely burning back the xenofungus. It is unknown at what point if it can be entirely at this point if it can be entirely eradicated. Yeah, that's definitely based on the xenofungus and Alpha Centauri. Burning it back is something that happens canonically in invasive xenofungus. Parasitic fungal growth, except it's not parasitic, it's actually symbiotic in that game. Parasitic fungal growth discovered on, and it should say the planet instead of the ship name. This mycelial organism has evolved to extract nutrients from any living source, preserving its host for as long as possible, with no regard for pain or discomfort. How resistant to heat and cold, it likely spread to this planet via passing spacecraft. Classified as a priority alpha biohazard, its planet of origin remains unknown. Right. Not sure I want that in my collection. So, I mean, the descriptions sound more like Alpha Centauri, but this is much nastier. Also, it doesn't scale up. It's a flat amount of physics. I'm selling this. For roleplay reasons, it's dangerous. For practical reasons, I eventually won't want to run it, and it's allowed me to run an energy deficit for longer. I mean, I will be assigning more tech missions after this tech. Not be in a deficit, but as I add more star bases, I might go back into a small deficit. Hold on a second. Someone's making a heck of a lot of noise. Just some focused, deep breathing, focusing exercises, both stress, but also focus, because I get distracted too easy and just gotta refocus in on this instead of paying attention to whatever the heck. My brain always has been maybe a little too alert to stuff, and it's like, what's that thing? What's that thing? Hold on. This is okay. Yeah, that was the young, dumb 20-something guy who's way too freaking inconsiderate about people with the amount of noise he makes. I mean, other people around here are quite quiet. It's a small gripe to have. And he's doing laundry, which I can't blame him. That's something that's naturally noisy, like you got your arms full. So, in this particular case, it makes sense. Yes, he still didn't need to slam doors quite so loud as he was doing it, but he's probably closing stuff with his foot or something. So, makes some sense. Some. Still. Could have been a little quieter about it. I don't know. I was raised by people who would tend to yell at me for walking too loud, which is a little insane and sometimes abusive. But it did train me to at least be aware of the noise I make, but a lot of people don't, like, or to an excessive degree, completely not aware of that. Little tricks like turning a doorknob as you close the door, so that the hinge isn't, I mean, the part that pops out isn't like automatically out. When you turn the handle, it moves it. It'll make a lot less noise, or not slamming cabinets, but stopping the movement just like a few millimeters shy and releasing. Things will normally kind of, or almost completely stop it. It's, you know, there's a lot of ways you can just more considerate of others. But, again, I would get yelled. It was excessive, so I know that my own standards are too high on that kind of stuff. But people yelling at me about it weren't entirely without a point. They just, well, one, yelling is an inappropriate reaction to it, and two, they were just honestly looking to pick on me sometimes. So, yeah. Still, this guy's like banking, finance, business type, and those sorts. I've never found it very considerate. I mean, even ones I went to college with, which were on the more side, it was a very, very good school, so they had a little higher academic standards, and I think so higher academic standards made it less likely that it was like frat boy types just want to get easy money, which those kinds of degrees tend to be overrewarded for the amount of effort it takes to get into them. And I think because like they do internships and suck up to people that they're so deserving, they don't think there is. I was a biologist. A junior scientist absolutely has to suck up to senior scientists just as much as someone in business has to suck up. But they also have to know a lot of science. On top of that, you can't get by just by sucking up. I mean, you can't in business either, but the amount of knowledge. I knew these kind of sorts in college at a very good school, and even then, they would just cram for exams and never study. They would just cram really late the night before exams. Whereas in sciences, you can never get away with that. Material took a lot longer to learn properly. Way more complicated. They did the kind of stuff that I could get away with in high school. Last minute cramming. It's not, I'm sorry, business is not nearly as hard as science is. And so it attracts people who want to get money without working too hard. And, you know, that kind of attitude pervades how they treat others. Which is why I'm pissed that we must run society like a business. The business types get to rule the country. Increasingly. No, that's not how democracy is supposed to work, but because billionaires buy politicians and want people who think similarly to them in charge, they like to put politicians in with business backgrounds because they're easier to buy than, say, a politician who had their origins as an actual public servant, like, you know, bureaucrat or a social worker or a doctor or a political activist. Those sorts of people are much harder to buy and care more about issues and are more considerate, empathetic, and more discerning when there's a hidden cost to something that they're not being told. So billionaires hate those sort of people becoming politicians. They prefer businessmen. They also understand them better. This seems like a fair deal to us. We accept. Well, better. That was an extremely favorable deal. I shouldn't quite have enough. Oh, no. I can do an embassy now. Okay. Cool. Won't even let me guarantee their independence yet, but our non-aggression pact. I'm gonna get 20 trust. Oh well. It may have been overkill, the deal I gave them. May want to call it off eventually. Well, some of this opinion, it doesn't hurt to have a bit of a buffer. improve relations will decay pretty quick. But yeah, I would have to let food run to 0, which would be a really bad idea. Or make sure I have less than 80 trade in the bank. It's already screwed up. I already saw how that accidentally happened and hurt relations with these guys, the council. For a trade deal. For like 11 years, I have to suffer the consequences of that. I could intentionally do it to the Ons. I don't think they'll remove the embassy once they've agreed. Of course, they might stop trading with me. Well. But the favorable deal thing, I don't think I'll remove that penalty first. Of course, the bigger the deal, the more they dislike you for canceling it. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what I should do. I want to just give a ton of value to an empire that doesn't even like me. Or, I mean, it's gonna be a hostile threat. In the future someday, probably. It's been a little too early to queue that trade up, but we have an alloys crunch here. I'm calling. What did I complete? Oh, have 1,000 consumer goods. Declare a rival. An empire's greatness is not measured by the number of its supporters, but by the strength of its rivals. I'm not sure I agree with that statement. I certainly don't agree with that statement. Friends make you stronger. Rivals make you weaker in a way, although they can drive nations to do better themselves. But hostile relations often lead to things that hurt you and to excessive military spending. Most systems aren't there. I mean, the US in its own history benefited from the Cold War. Drove the country to do better in a way, but that's only in the context of assuming the high military spending was going to continue regardless, because honestly, the kind of pricks who forced Truman on the country, because they explained there was a rigged Democratic Party convention in 1944. They made sure that Truman became the vice president instead of Henry Agwood Wallace, who had been the president before 1944 and was very, very, very much more left-wing than Truman. Strongly anti-racist, unlike the other Wallace. People may be thinking of George Wallace or whatever, who was a super racist. Henry Agwood Wallace was someone who wanted to desegregate the South, decades ahead of when it historically happened. Things. But anyways, Truman was a bastard and probably would have poured money into the military-industrial complex after World War II was over, like not downsize the military and reap the peace dividend, regardless of whether the Soviet Union had been around as a rival or not. He wanted to build an empire, essentially. That's what the billionaires who were
Knowledge
bankrolling
is the key
him
to the universe.
wanted. As well as for him to start sabotaging the New Deal, which he did while pretending to support it, pretending to protect it, but sowed the seeds of its destruction. Basic entanglement principles applied to energy generation provide substantial increase in energy output. I mean, Truman was a bastard and a war criminal. He ordered a number of things that, including the atomic bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, that absolutely count as war crimes. He was an evil, terrible human being. Unlike FDR, who I have great respect for, and Henry Agland Wallace, who I have great respect for, even more than FDR. He could have been America's greatest president, but he never got to be president because of the fuckers in the Democratic Party insiders who rigged that convention. And astral harvesting. Oh, wait, there is an astral thread somewhere, isn't there? That, like, oh yeah, Liaison already has some, so I could start harvesting those. Astral threads are filaments of condensed space-time, the result of dimensional planes colliding with one another. They can be spent to enact various empire-wide effects. Some of them are quite powerful. Quite powerful. Or I could grab specialized combat computers. The remaining tech to get it done. It's less than any of the other guaranteed options. This is a kind of slow thing to grab. Probably want better fleets so I can clear the Volmaro system soon enough. Recent progress in AI behavioral theory allows us to designate specific combat roles to our shipboard computers. So it's only a year. Yeah, I should be able to, before I finish this, maybe even add some of these combat computers to my new Corvette upgrades that I'll be doing. Specialized combat computers is tech. Basic combat roles. Well, that may have been the description of it. That's the active matrices tuned for specific combat-centric tasks greatly improve engagement efficiency. That's the tech description. Well, anyways. Bunch of nonsense there, pretty sure. I don't know enough about computer science. I mean, it's not nonsense. It's wrong. More nonsense than the regard this isn't actually futuristic. I think this is stuff we can do already. So, for that to be tech that's happening over 100 years in the future, bullshit. And with an unrealistic, like, there's no way that we'll be at this level of technology in 100 years. The game shouldn't start in 2200 and make more sense if it started in 2500. Or something like that. There's two ways sci-fi goes. One, our technology will be ridiculously more advanced than it's actually going to be by a given date. Or two, it's not going to have changed hardly at all. They're both bullshit. This is the it will be ridiculously more advanced quad version. Right. Until I can pull that envoy. 144 days. Oh, they're cordial now. Huh. I might be able to establish a non-aggression pact. That would start building trust. Might eventually allow a commercial pact. or even in a defensive pact. I doubt I'll ever manage to federate with them, but could probably use the commercial pact for a little extra growth, economic productivity, partly so I can run more researchers and priests. Sphere pops to provide the basic needs to run my empire and support those specialists. Yeah. Powerful. We are deeply honored that you value the relations between our nations so highly. Huh. Yeah, well, maybe it is worth paying them off if I can get a non-aggression pact. Since it looks like they're going to share a border. Eventually, once the Chatoid is cleared with my vassal, and I'm going to annex them, so I will have a border with them. Again, non-aggression pact now, while there's no border friction, and yeah.
Construction completed.
To think about it. Anyways, trade hub time. Yes, another trade up there. It's Northstar. Wasn't premature. Alright. Yeah, got some robots to resettle. Boom. Pops that didn't turn into Squires. Weird. I'm sure they'll turn into Squires after a little while, though. This is showing the civilians, so Fire Pop's just generated. Hasn't retyped yet. Oh, yeah, alright, at this point, this is just doing exploration, so Bergmeister, shoot. That's what I was thinking. On the edge of my mind, I need to stick Bergmeister on places where there's actual surveying going on. And indeed, now I have. Actually, it's here where I'm in a race against... Oh, no, this one doesn't have... Yeah, the head of research is faster. It's actually going to be serving here soon-ish. Battle wreckage. Just read that, not that. Just everything but these. Oh. Anastasia. Or Nova completes the battle wreckage. I think she'll be very close to a lap. Let's see. It's about 280. It's 281 XP. That should be worth 75. somewhat close. Uh, Cool. It's all good. I don't want to forget. 1.2 years in that. Cool. And 18 months till defensive zeal, so we can grab Fortress Doctrine, because I'm already over Starbase Cap. This will have economic benefit. And then I can do this. Towards Work of Harmony, I guess. Anyways, which was used to be under the Harmony tradition. They didn't even rename it when they moved it to Unyielding, annoyingly. I think they put some garbage into Harmony to replace it. Something that was absolutely no good. Oh, a lot more criminals on Anchor now than before. Oh yeah, now that I've got the tech, I should enable these and run more technicians. Keep 200 Squires and slowly get this up to max. I believe it falls under 200, I lose another defense army, so. I can enable all those technician jobs in the capital now. Cool.
System survey concluded.
Isolate inexplicable optical phenomenon play across the surface of MON3, clearly visible from space. Cool. This scholar can do that. James Cook has found yet another anomaly. Improving the anomaly discovery chance that the ship definitely paid off. Pretty sure this has already been surveyed by the Phi aliens. So actually, Bergmeister should probably go. No, those are doing secret special projects. Exploring project. So eventually. Research the battle wreckage. I haven't done these. Survey. survey. The asteroids aren't shitoids that might consider swapping out in Bergmeister after. We'll see.
Construction completed.
Orval Starbase, fully developed. Cool. Really? I'm at minus 36 energy with all those technicians now? Right. Hmm. No, I wouldn't actually mind robot technicians. Problem is, I think organic pops take priority over them. So they just get displaced. After all, robots don't generate crime. But yeah, I'd have to undo all the... Oh well. I'm not gonna run the civilian though. Maybe I should. Robots don't generate crime and will essentially reduce it on Anchor by or habbility is also higher in Anchor than most places by during minis. Oh well. I should probably stop resettling robots off Anchor now. Empire Capital gives extra housing. That's interesting. I didn't notice that before. It's unusual for a designation. Does that to pop growth for organic species in their capital?